everyone, welcome to Everyday Prelims series of Shantha Lakshmi IAS Academy. So today in this video, let us discuss the topics of 4th of December 2025. First, we are going to discuss about the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, and second about the Zuk 3 rocket, and third about the cheetah, and finally Argentina country mapping, which is a South American nation. So starting with our first topic, that is Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. So what is the context of this topic now? See, during this winter parliamentary sessions, a question was posed to the Union Education Minister regarding the funds which are going to receive by the states. So, in response to that question, Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has reiterated that center's position. What is that center's position? The states will have to abide by the conditions which are laid under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan to receive the funds. So the states, in order to receive the funds from the center, they have to abide by the conditions which are laid in this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Let's see what is this Samagra Shiksha scheme or the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. So it was proposed during the Union Budget 2018 to 19, and this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan subsumed the already existing three schemes. Those are the SSA, schemes of Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Next is the RMSA, that is the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, and next is the teacher education. So by subsuming all these three schemes in the year 2018 to 19 Union Budget, the government has proposed a new scheme, that is the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, by subsuming all these three schemes. So what is the objective or the vision of this scheme? That is to provide the inclusive and equitable quality education for all children from the preschool to class 12th. Remember this, very, very important. So this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme is concerned with the education from the preschool to the class 12. Now coming to the objectives of the Samagra Shiksha scheme. First is the improving the quality of the education and the learning outcomes in any education scheme. So this is the first objective and the priormost objective, that is improving the quality and also the learning outcomes. And second is the bridging social and the gender gaps, social as well as the gender gaps. And third is the equity and inclusion at all the levels, ensuring equity as well as the inclusion at all the levels from preschool to the class 12 standard, and also setting minimum standards, promoting vocationalization also. Remember, promoting vocational education also. This means enhancing the skills in the children. And next, implementation of the RTA Act, RTA Right to Education Act 2009, also strengthening all the other organizations or the institutions. Now coming to the implementation architecture, at the state or the UT level, there is this single state implementation society for every state and the UT level, which will focus on implementation of this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme. And next, coming to the national level, we have so many heads, that is the governing council, which will look after giving the finance and all other related matters. And this governing council is headed by the Ministry of the Education. And next is the project approval board, which is headed by the secretary. And this project approval board will look into the other related matters apart from the financing, administrative issues and all other related things to the state levels. And next is the technical support group. These two functionaries are supported by the technical support group, which is integrated under this Educational Consultants of India Limited. So that is the implementation architecture of this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme. And now coming to the funding pattern. So this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan is a centrally sponsored scheme. Centrally sponsored scheme, that means the funding should be shared between the investment should be shared between the center as well as the state governments. And see, coming to the funding pattern, 90:10 for the northeastern and the Himalayan states, and 60:40 ratio for other states and the UTs with legislature. And next is the 100% central funding for the union territories without a legislature. And these funding will be given based on the recommendations of the subgroup on the chief ministers, which was constituted in the year 2015. Here 90 is to 10 means 90% will be borne by the center and 10% by the states. And 60 is to 40 means 60 by the center and 40 by the states, and 100% for the UTs without a legislature. So this is about the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme. And now coming to a second topic, that is Zook 3. So what is this Zook 3? This Zook 3 is a rocket. And what is the context of discussion of this Zook 3 rocket? See, there is a Chinese private space company named Land Space. So Land Space is a Chinese private space company. And this Land Space has launched this Zook 3 rocket, which is a reusable launch vehicle. So this Land Space has launched this Zook 3 rocket, but it failed on Wednesday. That means yesterday. The Zook 3 rocket has failed. So it dashed or it thrashed the Chinese firms. This Land Space hopes of becoming the third company after Elon Musk's SpaceX and the Jeff Bezos Blue Origin to successfully test a reusable launch vehicle. That means, so these two companies, Elon Musk SpaceX and the Jeff Bezos Blue Origin, have successfully launched this reusable launch vehicle. Now, so this Land Space also tried to attempt, but it failed. So this Zook 3 is developed by the Land Space, which is a private Chinese aerospace company. And what is the type of this Zook 3 rocket? It is a heavy lift methalogs. Remember, methalogs means it uses the fuel of liquid methane as well as the liquid oxygen, partially reusable rocket. And what is the purpose? It is projected to carry 20 tons to the low Earth orbit. The Zook 3 was developed with the stainless steel structure so that it can offer the high thermal proofing. Coming to this liquid methane as well as the liquid oxygen methalogs. So before launching this Zook 3, this Land Space also launched Zook 2. Zook 2 rocket based on this methalogs fuel by using the liquid methane as well as the liquid oxygen. And this Zook 2 became the first methalogs rocket. Remember, Zook 2 is the first methalogs rocket. That means they use the fuel liquid methane as well as the liquid oxygen for propelling or the combustion of this rocket. Now let's see what are these reusable launch vehicles. So the name itself tells us that launch vehicles, reusable launch vehicles. That means these are the launch vehicles where the major components like the booster, first stage, second stage, or the full spacecraft are recovered and reused for for the future purposes. So that's how they will reduce the cost of this development. And these have the partial reusability. That means only some stages are reused, as well as the full reusability. That means all total launch vehicle can be reused. So this is the reusable launch vehicle. Now let's see what are the major reusable launch vehicles in the world. So first is the SpaceX by the Elon Musk. So that launched Falcon 9 rocket, which is a partially reusable. Some parts of that Falcon 9 can be reused for launching another projects. And next is the Falcon Heavy. It is also partially reusable. And next is the Starship. And this is under the testing model. This is going to be fully reusable Starship. And next is the Blue Origin, that is the Jeff Bezos, Amazon for the Jeff Bezos Blue Origin company of USA. It also launched the New Shepard, which is a fully reusable launch vehicle. And next is the New Glenn, which is a partially reusable. And this New Glenn is in development stage now. And coming to the India's reusable launch vehicles, the India's reusable launch vehicle program was started by the ISRO in the year 2016. As a RLVTD. It means reusable launch vehicle technology demonstrator. Technology Demonstrator Program. So, as part of this program, ISRO launched in 2016 RLV HEX, that is the hypersonic experiment. It conducted the hypersonic experiment. It demonstrated the hypersonic re-entry, heat shields, as well as the guidance. And second, in 2023, landing experiment. It is the first autonomous landing from the altitude. It sent the rocket, the reusable launch vehicle, and it safely landed in the altitude. And next in 2024, it launched the Pushpak, which demonstrated the precision landing repeatedly. So it launched the vehicle and again it landed in this precise location, which is repeated. That is the 2024, that is the Pushpak. Name of that reusable launch vehicle is the Pushpak. Now moving to a third topic, that is the cheetah. So why we are discussing about cheetahs right now? So this 4th December is the International Cheetah Day. And on this occasion, our Honorable Prime Minister greeted all the wildlife photographers and the environmental conservation regarding this International Cheetah Day. And he also remarked the 3 years of this Project Cheetah also. Now let's talk about the cheetah. Its scientific name is the Acinix jubatus. It belongs to the Felidae family, that means the cat family. And cheetah is the fastest land animal. So it runs for about 100 to 120 kilometer per hour. And coming to the distribution, it is distributed in Africa. Highest populations in the world. Highest populations of this cheetah can be seen in Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, Tanzania, and the Kenya. Even this Namibia is known as the cheetah capital of the world. Cheetah capital of the world due to the highest populations of this African cheetah are present in this Namibia. And in Asia, only in Iran, we can see the Asiatic cheetahs, that is approximately 15 cheetahs only or below also. And in India, we all know that we launched this Project Cheetah in the year 2022, right? And we brought this as part of this Project Cheetah, we relocated African cheetahs from this Namibia as well as South Africa, and we relocated in the Kuno National Park of Madhya Pradesh, as well as now we are going to looking for another location, that is the Gandhi Sagar Sanctuary in the Madhya Pradesh, right? And next, coming to the habitat, so these cheetahs prefer the open grasslands, savanna grasslands, semi-arid regions, and the light woodlands. They do not prefer or they avoid the dense forest areas. And coming to the behavior, which is the most important of these cheetahs, or the favorite topic of this UPSC. So these are the carnivores, right? They feed on the animals. And next, these are the diurnal, that means daytime hunters. And males form the coalition, that means male cheetahs form the groups while hunting, but the female cheetahs remain alone or the solitary by themselves. And see, these cheetahs cannot roar like other big cats. They only purrs, growls, or the chips. They make only these sounds, but they cannot roar. And these cheetahs have the excellent binocular vision. They have the excellent eyesight so that they can see the prey from the long distance also. Coming to the IUCN status, African cheetah is vulnerable and Asiatic cheetah is the critically endangered. So this is all about the cheetah. And now coming to a fourth topic, a final topic, that is the Argentina. So in yesterday's video, we have discussed about this Brazil, right, which is the largest country of the South America. And today we see about this Argentina, which is the second largest country in South America. So it is the Argentina, you can see. And this also passes through this Tropic of Capricorn. It is the second largest country in South America. Its capital is Buenos Aires and its official language is Spanish. Yesterday's Brazil's official language is Portuguese. Now this Argentina's official language is Spanish. And its currency is Argentino peso, and it got its independence from Spain in the year 1816. And here you can see its borders. It is a Chile, which is the longest border of this Argentina, which shares the longest border with Argentina. And next, Bolivia and Paraguay on its northwest. Brazil, small portion of this Brazil. Brazil and the Uruguay on its northeast, as well as the Atlantic Ocean on the east. So these are the borders: Chile, Bolivia and Paraguay, Brazil and Uruguay, and the Atlantic Ocean. Now coming to the physiography. It has the Andes region, which are the mountains, and the Pampas, which are the fertile temperate grasslands. Next have the Patagonia, which is a plateau, and next is the Gran Chaco, which are the thorny scrub and the semi-arid regions of the South America, Argentina. And coming to the river systems of this Argentina, we have the Paraguay, Paraná, Rio de la Plata system, which is the largest basin of this Argentina. And next we have the Colorado River, Negro River, as well as the Santa Cruz River. Its highest point is the Aconcagua. This Aconcagua is also highest point in the southern hemisphere as well as the western hemisphere, and it lies in the Argentina. And coming to the economy, it is the second largest economy in the South America and it is a developing country. It is also the founding member of the United Nations, World Bank, World Trade Organization, Mercosur, and the Community of the Latin American and the Caribbean states. And remember one more fact regarding this Argentina. See, it is also a part of the lithium triangle. Lithium triangle, which is of ABC, Argentina, Bolivia, and the Chile. So in these three places, there are so many lithium reserves, lithium resources. Remember, Argentina is also a part of this lithium triangle. So that's all for today. Thank you.